Streamer. Powered by Streamer. Stream your podcast, stream your story, stream yourself. Try it free at streamr.nyc.
Welcome to the Daily Bag Podcast. My name is Thomie Isreal. My mother did not give me that name. I gave myself that name with the hope that I could live by it, stand by it. And when it's all said and done, I lived up to it. Let's get right down to it. Woo! You know, I had to double take. Because I don't know my schedule. I don't know my schedule and my living conditions. I do not know when I'll be able to tape another podcast. So I said, let me double down a day. Because tomorrow I'll be into that 48-hour straight schedule. Meaning when I say that, I work from Tuesday, I start 9 a.m. to Thursday, 3 a.m. Right? All the way through. But I do get breaks in between. I think it's about maybe a 4-hour break in between. I get like 2 hours here and 2 hours there. So I work solid like 44 hours. I'm out. I'm up and rolling 44 hours out of 48 hours straight like that, bro. And this is a light week. This ain't even the one I usually go into the third day or go into the fourth. Or so one time they try to get me to the 5-day straight. You know how many hours is that? Like 100 hours, B. But this is a light week, man. This is a blessed week. I feel good. I'm looking good. I'm trying to stay focused. I like these jobs because even though I'm on my feet, I'm able to take advantage of learning. And when I say that, I say learning because I'm a podcast head, B. I love listening to podcasts. I used to love to read. Now, podcasts, man. I would be do YouTube because I do like YouTube. It's great unit, that great learning experience with YouTube, but I can't do visual while I'm working. That's why the podcast is so good, because people don't mind you listening, right? Especially when ain't no rap and ain't nothing crazy hard, ain't no Biggie coming out of the speaker or no new age rap coming out of the speaker, and there's something learning. It's kind of hard to deny that. It's like, even if you in a place playing music, it's hard to get mad at Aretha Franklin or Marvin Gaye. It's kind of certain things you can't get mad at. And that's like an educational podcast. It's like, it's hard to get mad at a person listening to a podcast, right? Unless you just who you are. But in my situation, my hours working, I have a great opportunity to listen to podcasts. And I love podcasts. Just the learning experience of it. What gets me, man, is that I can listen to a great podcast. Mostly business, mostly motivational, but mostly business though. Motivational is too. I like the motivational jump, but I like the business one. Usually the business ones slide into motivation when you think about it. When you're talking about the Ed Milet's and you're talking about the Tom Bilyeu's, there's kind of like slide into. It's like that borderline between education and motivation. But I just don't like the fact when I listen to a great podcast and then I can't remember nothing. The key points of it. That pisses me off. Nigga, this break 49 minutes of my time, or a minute and 4 seconds an hour and 4 seconds of my time, or whatever it may be, and I can't remember. I be like, man. So I used to be like telling me I'm gonna write down, because there be so much knowledge I be gaining, and I be letting it slide. Can't let it slide. When you get that knowledge, you get a key, you can't let that slide from you. I remember one time this guy had a book, and he was talking about the book. And, on my job, I'm like low on the totem pole. Like, I'm the lowest on the totem pole. So sometimes a guy might be like a junior manager, like, he ain't nobody either. He like a step up, you know what I'm saying? He probably don't even make more than me. So, but they feel his arrogance because I'm the lowest on the totem pole. So he had this book by this guy he's talking about. And I was like, wow, I know about that guy. But I couldn't remember the key points. And it made me so disappointed, because he was looking at me as if I didn't know the author. Like I didn't know about the author. But I was so pissed off that I couldn't remember the key points. Like, this was a guy, I couldn't remember his name, first of all. I didn't remember that he got the money to start his business by going on The Price is Right and won The Price is Right and used that to start his business. I thought he was from the East Coast. He happened to be from California. I was so mad at myself, man. I was like, man. And every time this guy see me, he look at me like I be fronting, man. Oh man, but that's what. See, I gotta take notes. See, your strengths is knowing your weaknesses, and I know I can't remember that good like that, so I have to take the notes. I have to, because I love podcasts. I looked into the guy who owned my last two ones was the guy who owned Squarespace. And another somebody else had another great company. But today I listened to one. For the last 2 days I've been listening to one called Mogul Live. Mogul, like a mogul, live on a great man, Mr. Chris Lightly from the music industry. This guy has managed some of the the greats, man. We talking about 50 Cent, Mariah Carey. We talking about Mobb Deep. We talking about Noriega. We talking about Missy Elliott. We talking about Busta Rhymes. I'm talking about the list goes on. The list goes on. It would be no Love and Hip Hop franchise that's doing so well on Idiocy TV, that's doing so well. Love and Hip Hop that's doing so well. There would be no Love and Hip Hop if it wasn't for Chris Lightly. Like, this is an amazing, amazing man, and he wound up taking his own life. And it's a podcast about him, and nobody would really believe that. But he coming from the streets and been through all he been through, and being able to go toe to toe with Suge Knight and go through all these great things, and have these artists from the street, these Fat Joe type of artists, bringing them from the glut of the street and dealing with it, and knowing how to walk that thin line between the executive in the streets and the sweet in the streets, and know how to maneuver that line that a lot of us brothers don't know how to do once we get that fame and that money, and spend 15, 20 years in the industry and be successful. To take your own life, it was like nobody would believe it, but the evidence showed that he did. But Chris was a great man. I really liked Chris Lightly, man. I really appreciate what he done for the culture, man, for the people. He really made me believe. Like, I was like, wow, he inspired me. And I remember first seeing Chris Lightly, man. It was summer 88 or 89. Summer 88 or 89, I was with my man Kev. We was driving past Apollo. I'm in Apollo being jam-packed that night. I mean, the best of the best was out there that night. I mean, this is the epicenter. This is Harlem, bruh. In the late 80s. We talking about summertime, late 80s. Can you imagine the best of the best being out there? Just think about if you into rock, just your favorite rock groups out there with all their fans. If you into rap, think about all the hottest artists in one place, outside. This is how it was. The best of the best would be outside. It was that type of culture. You came to Harlem to front. You came to Harlem to show off. This is where the best of the best came to show it all off. The best of New York. Talking about the best of Queens, the best of Harlem, the best of Brooklyn, Bronx. This is New York finest. Come to this one epicenter, Harlem, to just show it, to make a name for themselves. And I remember this day clearly. It was a beautiful summer night, and everybody was packed in front of the Apollo. I don't even know who was performing, but the Apollo was packed, and the best of the best was all out there. And then traffic is bumper to bumper, so you coming down with something nice, you get all the shine because you can't drive. It's bumper to bumper. You talking about the most beautiful women were all over the tri-state area. This ain't only New York. We talking about parts of Jersey coming into Harlem. Connecticut is coming into Harlem. Upstate New York is coming into. This is it. This is the late 80s. This is the era. And you coming down with your whip and you can't drive nowhere. It's bumper to bumper, and everybody's just living the life of a celebrity. The higher status you was, the more the light would shine on you. And I remember being with my man Kev, and I remember Kev looking over him like, yo, that's baby Chris. I was like, who? He said, Chris Lightly. That's baby Chris. I think he just got the new deal with Def Jam. And I was like, and I just seen him coming past us. And driving past us in that red convertible 500. Back then, that might as well have been a Phantom, a Wraith at that time. If you had the 500 in 88, if you had that 500 convertible, that coupe, red with that sleek nose, very rare. Very rare. Maybe baseball players, basketball players might come through the hood with it. But baby Chris, that was his name back then. But his name was Chris Lighty. How he came past that Apollo Dolo by himself. I just seen his big light-skinned head. His boy, he had a low head then. But he had the look coming through, light-skinned, coming through, pretty boy, tall dude, sitting beautiful in that joint. I'm like, ooh. Chris Lightly, and his name stuck with me ever since, man. And I've always seen him shining, always seen him with that glow, that glow. You remind me of Peter Shue, man. That always got that glow, that glow, man. I'm secure myself to say they always got that handsome, man. You know what I'm saying? That they got it. Some people just got it. And he had it, man. And he rest in peace, man. He inspired me, he motivated me. Always looked up to him. Worked with him. Slightly I worked with him, but I really worked with his brother Mike Lightly. I worked with Mike Lightly when he was managing Nori and Mobb Deep, and I used to take care of transportation at that time. But I never got to really get close to Chris Lightly. Too bad he's gone. I had to live with that regret that I never got a chance to really meet him and sit down with him and talk to him and get some education from him. Like he was able to sit with the greats. He sat with the Russell Simmons. He sat with the Leo Cohens, the Kevin Lyles, the best of the best, and managed Mariah. So this man's been to hip-hop. I got a chance to take him all across the world. You're talking about a guy from the grit to the Bronx, man. So it's inspiring, man. Just had to talk about my man Chris Lighty, but I'm a podcast head, and I think every week, at least episode or two, I'm gonna talk about a podcast I just heard, because there's a lot of great podcasts out there, but there's a lot of podcasts out there, but there's a lot of good ones out there too, and there probably more coming along, and maybe you could grab one up, and I could listen to you. With that, I'm going. My name is Thomie Isreal, man. This is the Daily Bag Podcast, man. This is a conversation with myself, and I give you the opportunity to listen in and eavesdrop and try to pick something up and take it and put it in your bag, add to your bag. And as we chase the bag and we get the bag, we can deliver the bag emotional, physically, mentally, into our mental bank or our physical bank or our financial bank, whatever bag you're trying to get, go after and get it, man. I'm gone.